Hey everybody, this is Christopher Small, the Unconventional Attorney, and this is the Unconventional Attorney Podcast. Thank you for being here. I am excited to be talking about something that is near and dear to my heart, something that is probably near and dear to your heart, which is selling, right? 3 ways to sell better. Before we get there though, I want to, as always, remind you that if you are not getting my weekly newsletter, you are missing out. Comes out every Sunday and does a couple things. First things first, I talk about something that I've been working on this week. Then I give you a sneak peek into my mastermind group and the weekly boardroom meeting that I have with them. Give you a little sneak peek in there. And then the last thing I do is I give you a couple things to do for the week to help you make your firm better. If you are not receiving that newsletter, you should. It's free. It's easy. If you don't like it, you don't have to get it. To get it though, go to theunconventionalattorney.com/newsletter. Theunconventionalattorney.com/newsletter will get you signing that, get you signed up, and you can get next week's edition. All right. Okay. Now that is out of the way, let's talk about the fun thing in front of us, which is selling. And I know a lot of people hate selling. You know, when I'm talking about selling, what I really mean is just getting people to sign up with you. Like, how can we do that better? How can we make that process easier? It's a thing that I think a lot of people struggle with. And I'm going to give you some ideas, a couple of things that I see people doing wrong all the time that can make a big difference in the amount of people that you sign up, the kind of people that you sign up, and probably just make the whole process a lot less anxiety inducing for you. Because for me, I love selling. It's a simple process. It's easy. It's intuitive. It feels good. People like it. When we're done, I don't feel dirty. I feel amazing. And you can feel the same way too. To get to this point though, I've had to do a lot of trial and error. I've read many books on selling. I've been part of mastermind groups and taken courses on selling. I basically have done it all. One of the reasons why I've done that is because I recognize and understand that if I cannot get people to sign up with my law firm, I cannot eat. My employees cannot eat. You know, I can't keep the lights on. And that's something that is important to me. So if you're interested in providing a good service, if you think you're such a great attorney, then figure out how to get people to sign up with you. That's important. Okay, don't look at this as some persuasive mumbo jumbo, some backhanded, sneaky, dirty tactic. We're just trying to find ways to get people to say yes to us. That's what we're really doing. People that need our help, people that we are excited to help, people that we can help. That's what we're trying to do with sales. Okay, it's a very simple process. Okay, let's talk about the first thing. This is probably the biggest thing. And the biggest problem that we're gonna roll this into 2 things. The first thing that I want to point out is you are not. It's so important to understand that you are not selling legal solutions. Okay, people don't care how the sausage is made. They don't care how the car gets fixed. They don't care how the house gets built. They just want a house. They want to eat. And with clients in your office, they want to have their problems solved. Okay? They don't care about the mechanics. They don't care about the logistics. So this is going to be number 1. Stop being so technical in your conversations. Stop looking for every single legal loophole, every single legal explanation for what is going to be done. For example, when I'm doing my estate planning consultations, people will often tell me what's going on and tell me what they want, and I'll simply say, I can do that for you. Here's the price. And they say, okay. They don't need to know. I mean, I may tell them like, okay, it's a will, a trust, blah, 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 and explain the very top level of what everything does, but we don't get in the weeds, I don't ask them 100 questions, and I don't get technical, and I don't get into the nitty-gritty details. For example, let's say somebody's making a will. I don't ask them if they want to cut anyone out of the will right now. I don't ask them, I don't ask them about the intricacies of that, of the will contest provisions. I just don't do that. You know why? Because they don't care. They literally don't care. Especially don't ask them that if they don't think anybody's going to be there to contest their will. I just don't even ask them questions that don't pertain to their situation. Like, part of our jobs, part of what we're taught in law school in particular, is to kind of be like doomsday prophesizers, to see all the angles and to try to eliminate as much risk as possible. But that can often get you in trouble when you're talking to clients who don't care about the very, very minute risks that you're talking about. For example, I'll give you another example. When I'm talking about to people that own rental companies or rental properties, not rental companies, rental properties, right? We all know that the best way to secure that property from yourself, to sort of protect your assets, is to put that rental property into an LLC. But I also tell people, listen, you need to do your own math. What is the likelihood that somebody at that rental property is going to blow the place up or is going to do something crazy? Okay, you have to assess that risk against the cost and time of setting up an LLC. Now, in that example, it's not very big, right? So that's why so many people create LLCs for their properties. But it's the kind of conversation that you need to be having with people so that they can make their own choices based on the information that you give them, and then they will be much more likely to hire you because they feel like you're counseling them instead of telling them what to do. So, to recap that one, step one, state the biggest, or what is it? 3 ways to sell better or something. Number 1, not get so legal. Okay? Take a step back and act like you're just having a conversation with someone and ask them questions. Okay? Sorry for all these pauses. I'm taking drinks. My throat is still got this tickle in my throat. It's better than it has been, but still there. So I'm just trying to prevent myself from coughing all over you while you're listening to this. Aren't you happy about that? Okay, number 2. The second thing that you can do to sell better is to stop diving in. Okay, goes in with number 1 now, remember. This is the simplest way. Simplest thing here is to find out why. That's it. And it's very simple. What I tell people I do is this. Okay, I'm going to get some basic background information on you. Then I'm going to ask you why you're here. That's what you need to do with everyone. Okay? So tell me about your family. Tell me about your assets. Now, why are we here? What is the goal? And people have different goals. I want to avoid probate. I want to protect my kids. I don't want to pay any estate taxes. I want to make sure that fill in the blank. Okay? And that's where you come in with this next step of, okay, here are some ways that you can do that. Some different ideas, some different options. And then they get to pick. But it's impossible for you to tailor the options in the right way unless you know why they are there, what their goal is, what they're trying to accomplish. And by the way, this applies across the board. Business. Okay, let's talk about it in a business litigation context. Somebody comes in, right? They have a problem with their business. The solution, the big solution may be to sue the pants off of everybody. But if you ask them what they want, maybe they just want 10K. And then the goal to getting 10K might be way different than like a burn the bridges litigation, right? Family law. What do you really want? They may say, look, I just want to make sure I keep my kids. I want to make sure that I don't pay a lot of child support. Or, look, I just want everything to be fair. I'm not trying to go to the maths here. I'm not trying to destroy anyone's life. I want us to both be able to walk away from this and still have a relationship. Okay? What else? Immigration law, right? I don't want to be deported. Pretty simple. When people come into me, it's also relatively straightforward most of the time. It's one of those 2 or 3 things that I mentioned. What else? Criminal defense. Criminal defense is interesting. If you ask people what their ultimate goal is, they're always going to say, I want to get out of this. Obviously. Who wouldn't say that? But then what I would ask them is, okay, well, what's a good outcome for you? Like, what actually is something that is going to make you feel good? Sometimes they'll say, like, look, I want to get this DUI reduced. I don't want to lose my job, right? Now, I don't want to lose my job is a perfect example because it's outside of the legal context. So now when you're talking to the prosecutor, you have you now know the direction that you're trying to go. You know what a win looks like, and you can give your person specific ideas and examples and ways to get there. So ask why and care. I mean, for me, I'm just curious. I'm like, why are you, what I typically ask estate planning people is, what was it that got you in here? You know, because people talk about coming to do estate plans all the time for years. So I'm like, okay, tell me what triggered you getting in here. That also gives you a window into what they're doing, and it helps provide context for when you're talking to them so that you can give them solutions that make sense to them and that they can analyze in conjunction with their own situations. So you know, so often people come in because they had a baby or because somebody in their family just died. Okay? If I know one of those two things, then I can at least mention that and I can give context around those things so that people know what's going on. Otherwise, you can't. And I've talked about this before. I don't know where exactly. Probably here, but you know, it'd be just like if you're going to go buy a car and the salesman asks you what you want and you tell him you want an SUV. And then he just starts going into like the towing capacity in the room and whatever. But the reason that you wanted it is because you like big fancy cars. You just want bling, you know? But he doesn't know that, so he's not talking about that. So because he's not giving you the right context, even though it's something that you want, it's going to be harder for that car salesman to make that sale. It's going to be harder for him to get you what you want because he's not, or she's not going to be able to put it into context for you in a way that lets you understand that the value is there for the money that you're going to be shelling out. All right? So remember that. Get to the why. Find out why. If they don't answer right away, kind of dig around it. Keep asking. You know, what is the good outcome for you and why? Why is this important to you? Why is it important that you keep your job? And sometimes it's going to seem obvious, by the way, but let the people talk it out. A, because you never know. But B, what happens is when they start talking about the reasons why, it becomes even realer for them. Right? It becomes even more tangible. The solution becomes even more important, which means they are more likely to hire you. So do that. Okay? All right. Then this third thing I'm going to talk about is something that I've seen a couple times, and I'm going to talk about it because I think it's important. I'm sure that a lot of you out there are doing this, and you just need to stop. The third thing that you can do to sell better is to stop taking meetings with people that are not going to hire you. Okay? I'll give you some context for this. There's an estate planning attorney, and he saw a meeting pop up on his calendar for like some asset protection stuff, some stuff that he doesn't do. But he thought, I'll get this person in here. We'll talk about asset protection, and then maybe they'll hire me for an estate plan. Okay? He had the meeting, comes in. What do you think happens? Nothing, right? Happens to me all the time too. Happens to me because I'm picky about what I do. So I do these probate consults all the time, and I see them pop up, and it says like, why are you here? Like, what are you looking for? And they'll say, my brother stole all the money from my mother's estate, and I want to get him back. I want to make him give me my half. And I know that's not a good case for me, because I don't do litigation, right? Another context for that, though, for me could be, maybe I'll talk about this probate thing. Even though I don't do it, I can get them to sign up for an estate plan, right? This kinds of thinking often happens when business is slow, or when you're just so afraid to let opportunities slip through your grasp, right? But here's the thing that you need to know. Those are not going to work out, okay? It's not worth your time to spend that on that. And that time slot that is being filled up by that person is a time slot that could be filled up with an actual good potential client. That's what you need to know. The other thing you need to know is the more you say no to those kinds of people, the more likely it is that the right people are going to come into your life. I can't explain why. There's no specific logical thing behind this. It's just sort of like karmic. It happens. Whenever I have made the right choices for my business, even when they hurt in the moment, they've always worked out for me. Okay? Always. I say no to somebody, and the next thing you know, somebody's coming in with their checkbook out, ready to sign up. That's a perfect client for me. And you can have that too. Of course, you need to be doing all the other things that we're talking about, creating content consistently, spending some money on marketing and advertising, right? Have a good sales process, have a way for people to sign up with you, like to sign up to talk to you. All these things are really critically important. You can't just wait and wish for people to come in. But if the wrong people are coming to you, don't talk to them. Just let them go. I typically would just refer them out to somebody that can help them, because we've got, we just have people. There are people that love to do what I don't like to do, and vice versa. I have estate planning attorney friends that send me clients all the time just because it's stuff that they don't do. And I send them stuff that I don't do all the time. So, there it is. Okay, that's it. 3 things to do to sell better today. The title's going to be way better than that, by the way. But selling is a skill. It's something you can learn. It's something that you can get better at. It's something that you should practice. Okay, practice it. And when I was first starting out, I practiced, I literally practiced every day. I would not only go through mental reps where I would imagine an entire sales conversation the whole way through, but I would literally practice out loud. Okay, I would find some people to work with me. I'd find some people to practice, and we would practice. When when I started having people working for me, it became even easier, and I became even better because we would practice, both of us. If somebody was just answering the phone, I'd have them practice their stuff, and I'd practice mine. We'd practice it all together. So practice. Okay, before we go, another friendly reminder: don't miss out on the newsletter. theunconventionalattorney.com/newsletter. It comes out every Sunday. I don't bombard you with a ton of emails and things like that. I'm not trying to sell you a bunch of crazy stuff every day like some people are. I'm just trying to give you good value, trying to give you that little sneak peek into the boardroom, and give you a couple of things to do every week that are going to get your business to the next level. All right? theunconventionalattorney.com/newsletter. Okay, that is it. As always, if you enjoyed this podcast, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone. If you have not subscribed and rated and reviewed the podcast yet, please go and do so. I think we're about 5 people away from giving away my top 10 books again, which is something that's always going on. And that's it. I'm Christopher Small. I'm the Unconventional Attorney. This is the Unconventional Attorney Podcast. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for your attention. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will see you again soon.